Cleopatra the Seventh, the last pharaoh of Egypt, stands as one of history's most captivating figures. Far more than a queen, she was the embodiment of power, grace, and fierce intelligence, ruling over an empire that extended from Egypt to Cyprus, part of Libya, and the Middle East. Cleopatra skillfully maneuvered through a turbulent political landscape, securing a place as one of the most influential women of her era. Her reign marked the close of an ancient civilization, but her legacy remains eternal. This is the story of Cleopatra, a queen whose intelligence, beauty, and strength continue to resonate through the history, forever enchanting the world. The early years of Cleopatra. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in Egypt and was the seventh member of the Ptolemaic dynasty to bear the name Cleopatra, which means or translates to glory of the father. Cleopatra family had ruled Egypt for 300 years. They were the Ptolemaic dynasty that had been established by the Greek ruler Alexander the Great. Even though they ruled Egypt, they were actually of Greek descent. Cleopatra was one of the greatest thinkers of her time. She was educated by the great scholars of the Hellenistic world and studied in Alexandria, which housed the famous ancient library. There she studied geography, history, astronomy, philosophy, international diplomacy, mathematics, chemistry, medicine, zoology, and economics. Cleopatra was the only member of her dynasty who spoke the ancient Egyptian language. Apart from this, she knew ancient Greek, the language of the Parthians, Jews, Medes, Syrians, Ethiopians, and Arabs. Cleopatra spent a lot of time in some kind of ancient laboratory where she conducted research on herbs and cosmetics. Unfortunately, all the books she wrote were lost in a fire in AD 391 when the Great Library of Alexandria was destroyed. The famous physician Galen studied her work and was able to rewrite some of the formulas she created, among which was a special cream that helps men restore their hair. Becoming the ruler, Cleopatra's path to power. In 51 BCE, Cleopatra became Queen of Egypt at the age of about 18 years, following the death of her father, Ptolemy XII. According to Egyptian law, she was required to rule alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, who was around 10 years old at the time. However, Cleopatra was determined to have complete control of power, which sparked a fierce conflict between the two siblings. As Cleopatra sought to affirm her authority, tensions rose, dividing the people of Egypt into two camps, those who supported her and those who supported or backed her brother Ptolemy XIII. The struggle for power got intense as both sides gathered allies, leading to a turbulent atmosphere in the royal court. Eventually, Ptolemy's supporters turned against Cleopatra, forcing her to flee Egypt to protect her life. Despite this setback, Cleopatra's determination to reclaim her throne only grew stronger. She sought refuge in neighboring territories and began to form alliances that would help her return to power. Alliance with Julius Caesar. Cleopatra first met Julius Caesar when she cleverly arranged to be smuggled into his quarters at the royal palace in Alexandria, Egypt. At the time, she was just 21 years of age, full of ambition and determination to reclaim her rightful place to the throne of Egypt. Caesar, on the other hand, was 52, a seasoned and powerful leader in Rome, a dictator with significant political experience. This meeting was actually crucial for Cleopatra as she sought an alliance with Caesar to strengthen her position against her brother Ptolemy XIII, who was co-ruler with her and had been trying to undermine her power. When Cleopatra entered Caesar's presence, she captivated him not only with her intelligence and charm, but also with her strategic vision for Egypt's future. Their relationship quickly grew, leading to a political and romantic partnership that would change the course of both their lives. This encounter marked the beginning of a significant alliance as Cleopatra aimed to stabilize her rule and restore Egypt's glory, while Caesar sought to expand his influence in the region. In 47 BCE, with Caesar's assistance, Cleopatra was able to gather an army to confront Ptolemy the 13th's brother. The conflict escalated into a civil war, and with Caesar's strategic military skills and resources, Cleopatra's forces gained the upper hand. The decisive battle took place near the Nile, and Caesar's troop defeated Ptolemy's forces. Ptolemy the 13th unfortunately drowned while attempting to flee. This victory allowed Cleopatra to solidify her rule over Egypt, and she was proclaimed queen alongside her younger brother Ptolemy the 14th, whom she later married to maintain her grip on power. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra not only secured her throne but also strengthened her position as a prominent ruler in the ancient world. Caesar and Cleopatra later had a son named Ptolemy Caesar, commonly known as Caesarion. His name means Little Caesar, and he was born in 47 BCE. Cleopatra presented him as the rightful heir to both the Egyptian and Roman thrones. Caesarion became a symbol of the alliance between Egypt and Rome. Caesar's assassination. Caesar's assassination took place on March 15, 44 BCE. He was killed by a group of Roman senators who feared that he was becoming too powerful and threatening the Roman Republic. On that fateful day, Caesar was attending a meeting of the Senate at the Theatre of Pompey in Rome. As he entered, he was surrounded by the conspirators who attacked him with daggers. Caesar was attacked and stabbed 23 times. The assassination shocked Rome and led to a power struggle. Following Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra returned to Egypt with her son, Caesarion. She faced a lot of political chaos as Rome went through civil wars following Caesar's death. In 43 BCE, three of Julius Caesar's key allies came together to establish the Second Triumvirate following Caesar's death. The members of the Second Triumvirate are Mark Antony, a close friend of Caesar. Antony was a talented leader and a speaker. After Caesar's death, he wanted to get revenge on those who killed him. He gained power through military success and became known for his extravagant lifestyle. Antony controlled the eastern territories of the Roman Empire, including regions such as Egypt, Syria, and part of Asia Minor. Octavius Caesar is Julius Caesar's great-nephew and chosen heir. Octavius was just 18 years when Caesar died. Despite his age, he was smart and strategic, using his connection from Caesar to build support from the people and the Senate. Octavius managed the Western territories, including Italy, Gaul, which is the modern France, and Hispania, which is modern Spain. Then the third is Lepidus, a military leader and a supporter of Caesar. Lepidus was less powerful than Antony and Octavius. Lepidus was given control over North Africa and Spain. The three men created the Second Triumvirate through a law that gave them almost unlimited power. They could make decisions about Rome's government, wage war, and punish those involved in Caesar's assassination. Alliance with Mark Antony. After Julius Caesar's death, Cleopatra found herself in a vulnerable position, facing numerous rivals. To strengthen her rule and safeguard Egypt, she sought an alliance with one of Rome's most powerful leaders, Mark Antony. Their first meeting took place in the city of Tarsus in modern day Turkey, and Cleopatra knew how to make an impression. She arrived on a magnificent barge decorated in gold and silk, portraying herself as the goddess Venice. The ground spectacle immediately captivated Antony, but it wasn't just her beauty that drew him in, but Cleopatra's intelligence and charm intrigued him. Their discussion centered on politics, ambitions, and their mutual goals, laying the foundation for a relationship that was both a passionate romance and a strategic political alliance. In 40 BCE, Cleopatra and Antony welcomed three children together: twins named Cleopatra Selene, symbolizing the moon, and Alexandra Elos, symbolizing the sun, along with a third son, Ptolemy Philadelphus. This union symbolized the growing bond between Egypt and Rome, and they began to dream of an empire that would unite both. However, their relationship sparked controversy in Rome. Antony's connection to Cleopatra and his acceptance of her son as a possible heir caused alarm. Many in Rome saw Cleopatra as a manipulative foreign queen using Antony for her own gain. Octavian, Julius Caesar's nephew, capitalized on this tension, spreading propaganda that painted Cleopatra as a dangerous threat to Roman power. In 34 BCE, Antony took a daring step, hosting a grand ceremony in Alexandria where he declared his children with Cleopatra as rulers of various regions, an event known as the Donations of Alexandria. This bold move further distanced him from Rome and gave Octavian the leverage he needed to turn the Roman Senate against Antony. The growing tension soon erupted into open conflict. By 31 BCE, Octavian declared war on Antony and Cleopatra, igniting the final war of the Roman Republic. The once powerful alliance between Cleopatra and Antony, driven by love and ambition, had now become the catalyst for war, with the fate of two empires hanging in the balance. The fall of Cleopatra, defeat, and final defiance. In 31 BC, Cleopatra and Mark Antony faced their greatest challenge when Octavian declared war on them. The defining moment came on September 2nd, 31st BC at the Battle of Actium off the coast of Greece. As the battle raged on, Octavian's fleet gained the upper hand through superior tactics and positioning, gradually overpowering Antony's forces. Cleopatra, realizing the battle was turning in Octavian's favor, she made the critical decision to withdraw her ships. Antony turned between his duty as a commander and his deep love for Cleopatra. He chose to abandon his fleet and follow Cleopatra. This decision left his forces leaderless, and without Antony's guidance, his fleet and army quickly fell into chaos, eventually surrendering to Octavian. The defeat at Actium marked the downfall of Antony and paved the way for Octavian's rise to undisputed power. However, it was not the end. Nearly a year later, Octavian's forces finally reached Alexandria, where Antony and Cleopatra made their last stand. After yet another crushing defeat, Cleopatra sought a refuge in a tomb she had prepared, bracing herself for the inevitable. Antony, devastated by a false report of Cleopatra's death, he was consumed with grief. In despair, he attempted to take his own life, falling on his sword. Mortally wounded, Antony was brought to Cleopatra, where he died in her arms, a heart-wrenching end to their faithful love story. With Alexandra under his control, Octavian turned his attention to Cleopatra, who attempted to negotiate for her children's future, especially that of Caesarion, a son with Julius Caesar. Yet Octavian remained unyielding, intent on parading Cleopatra and her children as captives in the triumph in Rome. Determined to control her destiny, Cleopatra devised a bold plan. She had a venomous snake smuggled into her tomb rather than submit to the humiliation of being paraded in chains. Cleopatra allowed the snake to bite her, choosing a swift and dignifying death. In her final act of defiance, Cleopatra ensured that Octavian would never parade her as his trophy, securing her place in history as a queen who, even in death, refused to bow to Rome's power. Cleopatra's legacy and aftermath. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which had ruled Egypt since the time of Alexander the Great. After her death, Egypt was annexed by Rome and became a Roman province, bringing to an end Egypt's status as an independent kingdom. Octavian ordered Cleopatra's son, Caesarion, to be killed, eliminating any potential rival claim to Julius Caesar's legacy. Cleopatra's other children, whom she had with Mark Antony, were taken to Rome and raised by Octavian's sister, Octavia, who had been Mark Antony's Roman wife. In 27 BC, Octavian became Augustus, the first Roman emperor and one of the most successful. He ruled during a time of peace and growth for the Roman Empire until his death in 14 AD at 75 years old. This period not only marked the end of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, but also started a new era under Augustus. After years of fighting, his reign led to many improvements in culture, government, and buildings that shaped Roman for years to come. So here's a question: why is Cleopatra important to history? So Cleopatra is important to history for several reasons. Number one, she was a master of political alliances. Cleopatra was more than just a ruler, she was a smart political strategist to protect Egypt from the growing power of Rome. She formed alliances with strong Roman leaders like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. She combined romance and politics to ensure the safety of her kingdom. Also, Cleopatra's reign marked a crucial moment in history, signaling the end of Ptolemaic dynasty and the transformation of Egypt into a Roman province. Her death in 30 BCE was not just the loss of a queen, but the closing of a remarkable chapter in ancient history. Cleopatra was a formidable intellect, fluent in several languages, and well versed in science, mathematics, and philosophy. She ruled with both charisma and brains, a rarity for a woman of her time. Also, under Cleopatra's rule, Egypt thrived economically thanks to her management of agriculture and trade. Cleopatra's economic policies ensured that her kingdom remained a wealthy powerhouse, vital for sustaining her political ambition. Also, Cleopatra was more than just a diplomatic leader, she was also a warrior at heart. Her involvement in military campaigns, especially alongside Mark Antony, highlighted her determination to defend her kingdom and her willingness to fight for her people. Thanks guys for watching to the very end of this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you guys on my very next one. Peace out.